your email's not converting very well, badly designed emails can ruin your sales and your brand reputation. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to design high converting emails. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Derek and I'm the founder at Ascend Media, where we help 7- and 8-figure D2C brands generate more profit and revenue with high converting designs in Klaviyo. So the first thing here to consider might not actually be what you think. Take a look at this email. But wait, there's more. This email keeps going on and on and on, and the design itself doesn't look that bad here, but there's one big issue with this email, other than the fact that it's going to take someone 20 minutes to read through it. Deliverability. If you can't get to the inbox, it doesn't matter how great your email is. You could have the best designers in the world, but it won't convert because it won't even get in front of your subscribers. Here's a few of the pitfalls that we see brands make that have a major negative effect on your deliverability. The first is sending an email that is either way too long or way too large. File size is super important here, and you want to make sure that the file size of your email is less than 5 megabytes. If it's longer than that, or if it's larger than that, you run the risk of it just not loading properly, and if the email's too long, it's going to get cut off. You don't want something to get cut off mid-sentence. It just wouldn't look very good and wouldn't look very professional. Now, the second thing is uploading everything as just one massive image. Now, what happens here is you may end up triggering spam filters because you just have an image and there's no text in the email. For ESPs like Gmail and Yahoo, they look at that and they're like, probably spam. So what you want to do here is use a combination of images and text. Usually we recommend like 500 characters just to avoid getting flagged as spam. So an example here, the text part at the top of this email is actually text. Now, here's the thing. You might see a lot of big brands using just an entire image for their emails, but what you don't know is, one, they probably have a much higher domain authority and domain reputation than you do, and two, you actually don't know how their deliverability is. I have seen behind the scenes of some of these brands, and it is disgusting. You don't want to see it. Now, the third thing is over hyperlinking. Now, we'll dive into this a little bit more later in the video, but the main thing is that a large amount of hyperlinked text can also be a red flag for inbox providers. So try to keep this to a minimum. Don't have 74 different links, have a couple. Now, the fourth pitfall is actually the biggest one, and this is sending to everyone. If you want better deliverability, send to engaged people. Now, this video is not about deliverability, so let's dive into the next piece of designing high converting emails. Now, if you want to make sure your emails are engaging, sending to engaged people is a good start, right? But also remember the purpose of the email. The purpose of the email is to spark curiosity and to get people to click. The objective isn't to get them to purchase. The objective isn't to tell them your entire life story. That is your website's job. What we need to do is get in front of people and give them a compelling reason to click on your email and go to your website. That is all. Now, there are 3 big mistakes that we see brands make with their email designs. The first is just overfilling or overwriting the email. We're not trying to hit a word count in a 12th grade English assignment here. We're trying to get what our message is across in the simplest terms possible. The second is your email has more ADD than my brain does. If you're telling people to do 10 different things, people are going to get decision fatigue and they're going to be like, I don't know what you want me to do in this email, so they're not going to do anything. If it's a sale, it's a sale. If it's a product spotlight, it's a product spotlight. Keep it simple and make sure people know exactly what you want them to do in each email. With this design, for example, this is the product spotlight. Our only objective with this email is literally just to talk about how great the pillow slides are and why people who don't have them are missing out. Now, the third mistake we see brands make is not following an email structure. We have a few different sections in an email: the logo, the header, the CTA, the body, the CTA, and the footer. I said CTA twice. Now, each one of these sections has a purpose, and using them correctly is absolutely pertinent. Now, the first thing is the header. This is the first thing that people see. The main purpose of the header is to get people's attention. It's to make them want more. It needs to pop. Now, usually you'll have a logo and then the header right below it. And with the header, there's a couple of things that are really important. One, the text selection you're using. It should spark intrigue. It shouldn't give them absolutely everything, but it should encourage people to read a little bit further. Two is the image selection. This is really important, and this is where a lot of brands get it wrong. right? Now, if, for example, we sell workout supplements, we might want to show someone and show an athlete in peak performance. What we're trying to do with the header image is try to put people in an emotional state. People should feel something. Now, just below the header, or sometimes in the header, you might have a subheader, right? And usually that's just a little bit more information. It's not absolutely necessary, but if you do need to explain the header a little bit more, this is where you can dive into things a little bit more here. Again, we're keeping it clear, we're keeping it concise, and we're not overfilling the header or the subheader. A couple options here is just tell people a little bit more about a sale, create some urgency, create some scarcity, or agitate some pain points. Again, you don't always need to have a subheader, but if you do, just make sure it flows right into the body, which is the next section. Now, the body of the email is the meat and potatoes of the email, and it's really going to vary depending on the type of content you're sending or the type of email you're sending. For example, if we're sending a sale and promotion, there may be absolutely no body. Remember, our goal is to say what we need to say in as few words as possible. Keep things short and try not to overfill that body. So a couple big pitfalls you're gonna want to avoid in your body text is one, just not having any white space. White space is the breathing room in your email. If you just have all content and all text, it's gonna be super overwhelming for people and people aren't gonna have space to breathe. So make sure you have a little bit of white space. The second is just talking all about you. At the end of the day, people are selfish. They just want to hear about how you can help them. If you're talking all about you, people aren't going to care. And the third is just make sure the images are actually relevant and they're actually adding something. You don't need to add an image just to add an image. Make sure they actually add something to the email. Now, the footer is usually a big missed opportunity here. Not only can you add the required legal things like the unsubscribe link and the address, which you'd be surprised how many brands don't do, but beyond that, you can also add review features. You could add your USPs. You could add a tagline that kind of really summarizes your brand. Make sure it actually provides some sort of value. It's not just like fluff. Really, really important, but it can be such a missed opportunity. And I'd encourage you to add some things into your footer that might just add a little bit more value to the email. And you'll see there's a couple CTAs here, and the CTA is one of the most important parts of the email. Our goal here is to get people to read and click. The CTA needs to be easy to find. It needs to pop. It needs to have some degree of contrast against the rest of the email. I'd recommend having multiple, especially for longer emails. Have one at minimum above the fold, and then have some others in there sprinkled through. Make sure the CTA is action-based. Shop now as a very, very simple example. Have one CTA. That doesn't mean one button for the CTA, but you don't want to have 17 things. You don't want to learn about our story. Shop now. Go donate. That's confusing. Confused brains don't buy. Again, there should be one CTA, and that CTA should really pop. Make sure that CTA really pops and there's contrast as your brain scans through the email. You should be able to see the CTA in your peripheral vision. Okay, now when you're actually building out the email design, there's a couple other things you want to keep in mind. Now, the biggest mistake that I see people make is just not optimizing for mobile. What you want to do is focus on that font size, make sure the font size is legible on mobile, make sure the CTA is legible on mobile. Usually around 16 to 20 pixels is good there. But beyond this, make sure the buttons are easily clickable on mobile. Make sure the padding isn't wild and crazy on mobile versus desktop. Make sure the button width looks reasonable. And also take a look at how dynamic elements stack up. Now you know how to design high converting emails, but there's more to optimize and scale your email marketing strategy than just the design. So if you want me and my team to help you build out a custom Klaviyo strategy, just check out the link below this video and apply for your free strategy call now. And once you've done that, check out this video where I explain how to create a high converting welcome flow in Klaviyo. Thanks so much and have a great day.